Shavua Tov. This week, this Shiur is being given on Tuesday. Usually we try to make this class on Wednesday or Thursday. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, we're going to be doing it today. I do also want to tell you that the Shiur is not, I don't want to be, unfortunately limited to the screen. Just because we're recording does not mean that you can't ask, and feel free. If you want us to delete specific stuff that not to be recorded, we can do that as well. But I don't want that the recording should limit us from learning. That's one. This is class 3 when it comes to dating and marriage. The purpose of this class is to be able to have a little bit of clarity as to what the purpose is. The question was, we started off with the question, what is the purpose of marriage according to the Torah? Right? What's the purpose of marriage? And until now, the classes that we gave were all psukim, and the commentaries that we gave, all based on the Torah. And what we came out so far from the commentaries is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu put it in the creation that a man must be married, must be together with a woman. There is no such a thing as having a man be alone. The last thing that we did mention last time was the chidush of Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch. It's a beautiful chidush. I'm going to repeat it again today. What does he say? Lo tov hiyot ha'adam levado e'eseh lo ezer kenegdo. What does the Torah say? It's not good that the world has Adam being alone, right? It's not good that Adam is alone. So Hashem says, I'm going to create Ezer. I'll make help for Adam. Kenegdo. We discussed last week, what does Ezer Kenegdo? Ezer means help. Kenegdo means against, right? There's a few interpretations of what Kenegdo is. Ezer means help. Kenegdo means against him, next to him, parallel to him. Kenegdo. So is a wife supposed to be Ezer, there to help you, or a wife is supposed to be Kenegdo, against you? Simple pshat means Ezer Kenegdo means help that will be next to you, right? And we discussed that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said we can't have Adam Arishon and Chava be one. The Gemara says, if you remember, we learned the Gemara last week. The Gemara says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Gemara in Barachot, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Adam Arishon two faces, one in the front, one in the back. Du partsufim. So Chava was technically in the back, right? And the HaKadosh Baruch Hu said they can't be one, they have to be separated. And that's what the Pasuk saying. We're going to make Adam Arishon, Ezer Kenegdo, so to speak. It's like, based on that Gemara, so to speak, Hashem says, I'm going to separate Chava from his back, and I'm going to make him that she should be next to him. And we gave a few interpretations. A commentator said, why is it that a wife has to be next to Adam? We gave that. Why can't she be in the back? The answer is, we gave that it's very important that a man is able to see the partner next to him, so they'll be able to help him. Because if you don't see her next to him, if she's part of you, then there is no fight, there is no friction, there is no becoming shalem. That was last week, but today I want to discuss the next point. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention this chidush that I just said from Rav Shamshon and from Hirsch. He says, Lo tov heyot adam levado. Lo tov, what's lo tov? He says, if the pasuk would say, Lo tov le'adam liot levado, it's not good for a man to be alone. So then I would understand the Torah saying, it's not good that a man is alone. I need to create a woman. But the pasuk doesn't say that. He was a master in grammar. He said Lo tov heyot adam levado. Lo tov, it should say Lo tov le'adam liot levado. It's not good for a man to be alone. But it says Lo tov, comma, heyot adam levado. It's not good. What's not good? And he explains, the world is not good. The creation that Hashem created is not good. You know why? Heyot ha'adam levado, because the man is alone. That means the world is not complete so long that a man is alone. A man completes the world. And who completes a man? A wife completes a man. And a man completes the world. According to Rav Shamshon Lefer Hirsch, it's not going back on Adam. It's not going back on a person. It's not good for a man to be alone. Oh, it's going on the world. Lo tov, because the grammar fits. Lo tov, it's not good. What's not good? The creation that I just created is not good. Still not good. Even though every single day Hashem created the world, it says ki tov, ki tov, ki tov. But in the end, before Chava was created, Hashem says, Lo tov, the world is not complete, not good yet. Since a man is alone, and a man is really supposed to complete the world. How does a man complete the world? Only if he's also complete. How is he supposed to be complete? Through a wife. So when he's going to have Ezer, who will help him, he will help to fulfill, complete the world. That's a beautiful chidush. And in the wording of the pasuk, it's so beautiful. That's what we said last time. Today I want to focus on, and again, this is a hard piece from Rav Shamshon Lefer Hirsch. He goes ahead and now he explains the next pasuk. In the Torah it says, Parashat Bereshit, Perek Aleph, pasuk Chavchet. Hashem says, Vayomer Vayivarech otam Elohim. Hashem blesses them, and He says like this. This is after HaKadosh Baruch Hu created Chava, Vayivra Elohim ha'adam betzalmo betzelem Elohim bara oto, zachar u'nkeva bara otam. In the pasuk it seems like Hashem created Adam, like openly the pasuk says, zachar u'nkeva, Hashem created a man and a woman together at one shot. And then Vayivarech otam Elohim, Hashem gave him blessing. What was the blessing? He said to them, Pru urvu. What's pru urvu? Oh, pru means fruitful. Urvu and multiply. Umilu et haaretz, fill the world, fill the earth. V'chivshua, and conquer it. Urdu b'gat hayam v'hashamayim v'chol chaya romezet al haaretz. So, this pasuk is told to a man, right? It's a commandment to a man that you should have children and fruitful and many. Now, first and foremost, let's focus on the pasuk. It says, "Vayivarech otam Elohim." Hashem blessed them. Vayomer lahem Elohim pru urvu. Hashem said to them, "Pru urvu." That's one. Pru urvu, be fruitful. Urvu means multiply. Umilu et haaretz, and fulfill the earth. Question: if you multiply, aren't you automatically fulfilling the earth, filling up the earth? So why does the Torah have to tell you, Pru, fruitful, Urvu, many, Umilu et haaretz, and fill the earth, and then the next thing, Vikivshuha, and conquer it, right? And acquire it, right? Bikovesh. It seems simple understanding seems like it's with people. Umilu et haaretz, no? How do you look at the pasuk? Umilu et haaretz, and fill the earth. Fill the earth. How do you fill the earth? You fill the earth with people. So why? It seems like the pasuk is like telling us either it's like a simple understanding. Maybe the Torah is just being expressive. Like it expresses itself more. It's like when I'm speaking to my friend and I'm saying, by the way, you should do this, and I'm just explaining myself more by repeating myself the same thing. And the reason why I'm repeating myself the same thing is more of the expression. So maybe that's a simple understanding. Maybe the Torah is saying that you should be fruitful and many and fill the earth, and be kovesh the earth. You understand the question? Why does the Torah have to tell you Prurvu umilu et haaretz v'chivshua? There's too much speaking over here. So we're going to see Shamshon Lefer Hirsch how he breaks down the pasuk. What is really the obligation of a man? From here, he's going to learn unbelievable how the Torah. Again, he was a genius in grammar, Lashon HaKodesh. He's able to explain to us from the pasuk what it means. But we're going to see this in 1 second. But let's focus on the psukim before. A couple of psukim before. If you look at Perek Aleph, same chapter, Perek Aleph, Pasuk Chav Bet. Pasuk says, "Vayevarech otam Elohim lemor pru ורבו ומילאו את המים בימים והעוף ירב בארץ." You know where else we find the word pru ורבו? Fish. Fish is the same bracha. By fish, the Torah says, Hashem blesses them when He created the fish. He blessed them and He says, pru ורבו. Same thing, pru ורבו. Pru, fruitful, ורבו, a lot. ומילאו את המים, fill the mine. So in a way, we're like fish. Because our job is to be pru ורבו ומילאו את הארץ. We should fill the earth with people. And fish, pru ורבו ומילאו את המים. They should fill the water. בימים, והעוף ירב בארץ. And also the birds should also be multiplied, have a lot, right? So, asks Rav Shamshon for Hirsch. Now, if you look at your sheet, I gave you a sheet, and again, this is something that we're going to have to study a little bit. What he's saying. If you look at it's this sheet right here, 13a. It says 13a. It's a long piece. We're going to try to study it a little bit if we're able to explain it. ויברך אותם אלוקים, השם בירך את שניהם. Hashem blessed both of them. ויברך אותם Elohim. Hashem blessed both of them. Who's אותם? Man and woman. Okay? Man and woman. ויברך אותם Elohim. Same thing, it says, ויברך אותם Elohim by where? By fish. Them. Hashem blessed them, Hashem blessed them. והפקיד בידיהם במשותף את האחריות למילוי ייעוד האנושות. Says Rav Shamshon. He says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu appointed them, he left in their hand as a partnership, et האחריות, the responsibility to fill the purpose of a man. That means a woman and a man have the responsibility to be able to bring into the world the purpose of humanity. It's both. It's a bracha to both of them. So now he asks a question. יש להעיר דלאל בפסוק כ"ב בעניין הברכה לדגים נאמר בברך אותם אלוקים לאמור. ואילו כאן בברכת האדם נאמר בברך אותם אלוהים ויאמר להם אלוהים. Asks of Shamshon. If you look at the fish, by fish it says Hashem blessed the fish. ויברך אותם אלוקים לאמור. Hashem blessed them, לאמור saying. Hashem blessed the fish, לאמור saying, be fruitful, fill the waters. That's by fish. Over here it says, ויברך אותם אלוהים. Hashem blessed them. It doesn't say לאמור. Over here by men, it says Hashem blessed them. ויברך אותם אלוהים. He blessed them. It doesn't say לאמור saying. It says ויאמר להם. Again he says, and he said to them, he blessed them. And he said to them, פרו ורבו ומילאו את הארץ וכבשוה. So he's asking, it's interesting, by fish it says, ויברך אותם אלוהים לאמור, and Hashem blessed the fish saying, פרו ורבו, saying to be fruitful. By a person says, ויברך אותם אלוהים, and Hashem blessed them, it doesn't say saying to be fruitful. It says, He said to them, be fruitful. By fish it's different than by men. How come the commandment by fish is different, or the blessing by fish is different than by a person? You understand the question? Is the question clear? Question clear? You understand the question?
By man it's basically commanded, and by fish it's not really so commanded.
Oh. By man, it seems like, see, by fish it says, "Vayvarech otam Elohim lemor." Hashem blessed them, saying, "Pru ורבו," be fruitful. It's more like by default. Hashem blessed them, saying, "Pru ורבו." By a person it says, Vayivarech otam Elohim, Vayomer lahem. Hashem blessed them, and He said to them, Elohim pru ורבו. He said, Hashem said to them, pru ורבו. He said to them. He blessed them, He said to them. So He says like this, Vayivarech otam Vayomer lahem Elohim, כבר ביארנו למעלה שבנוגע ליצורים החסרים בחירה חופשית. And this is the piece that we're going to learn. Let me make a bracha. I'm going to drink a little bit. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu shakon yaved baruch. Once again, this piece I'm learning with you. And I think it's going to be very good if we're going to try to elaborate together. He says, "Vayivarech otam Elohim vayomer lahem Elohim." Kvar bi'arnu lemala. He says, we already explained above. Shebenogea leitzurim, when it comes to creatures, right? Creatures. Hachaserim bechira chofshit. We know that creatures are missing freedom of choice. There's no bechira chofshit. There's no freedom of choice. Free will. So that means, since there's no freedom of choice, the kiyum, the fulfillment of the blessing, that they should be fruitful, is in the blessing itself. Hainu, what does that mean? Netinat hayicholet lifrot v'lirbot. The ability, HaKadosh Baruch Hu put in the creation, that there's an ability in the creation, in the creatures, to be able to be fruitful and to multiply. That means when the Hashem gave the blessing that you should be many, you should be fruitful and multiply, in that saying is already the blessing. Right. That means in the blessing there's already, it's kiyum, which means fulfillment. הולדת ולדות והטיפול בהם הם נעשים טבעיים לגמרי. He says, by animals, having children and taking care of the children, it's a natural thing. It's totally a natural thing. אשר עשייתם תלויה בדחף טבעי. They're doing, having children, it's a natural, it's a push, it's a natural push. שמקורו נמצא בברכת האלוקים, which the source is in the blessing of Hashem. That means Hashem said to them, you should have babies, you should multiply. Automatically in the creation there is this already the drive to want to multiply, to do that. הם נעשים מחמת הכרח חוקי טבע. It happens already by law of nature. It's the force of nature. כמו כל שאר התפתחויות הגופניות של היצור החי. Just like all the other developments of physical living creatures. That's what happens. Hashem put a certain system in the creation, so there's a development, there's an evolvement, right? To evolve, right? Ach etzel ha'adam, says Rav Hirsch, but when it comes to a person, a man, hufradah habracha ma'kiyum, the blessing is separated from the kiyum. Kiyum means fulfillment. The blessing is separated from fulfillment. That means Hashem, if you pay attention, it says, Vayivarech otam Elohim, Hashem blessed them. And then He says to them, pru ורבו. He first blessed them, and then He says to them, pru ורבו. Why? He says, because etzel adam frodah bracha ma'kiyum, the blessing of being blessed by God is separate than the kiyum. Kiyum means the fulfillment of the blessing of being fruitful. והענקת היכולת חלוקה מהשימוש בה למטרות האלוקים. What does that mean? He says, הקיום נדרש מאדם כמילוי חובה. He says, the kiyum means to fulfill that. It becomes more as an obligation that you have to fulfill. By creatures, it's part of the creation. Hashem created fish, and fish, definition of fish is, you know what the definition of fish is? Multiply. That's the definition of fish. When I say fish, boom, many, that's the definition of fish. But by a person, he says, Hakiyum nidrash, madam. The actual kiyum, what's kiyum? To fulfill the blessing, who needs to do it? You need to do it. Kimilui chova is your obligation. Ve'alav lekaimo mirtzono hachofshi. You must fulfill it from your free desire. That means it's up to the person. Ma'aseshu tivi babehema, something that is natural by an animal. An animal's natural. Animal born, it has the drive, boom, it's going to have children. But by נהפך אצל האדם למעשה של חירות מוסרית, by a person, he has to choose to be able to, it's a moral choice. It's a moral choice. It's not a force, it's a moral choice. Now, that's part one. So far, any questions? Do you see the difference between how the pasuk is said by fish and how the pasuk is said by man? By pasuk by fish, it says, "Vayivarech otam Elokim lemor pru ורבו." Hashem said to them, saying, "Be fruitful." That means their sustenance, their being in this world is pru ורבו. That's their kiyum, fulfillment of their blessing, fulfillment of their being.
That's their whole purpose.
It's the essence. It's natural already. It's a drive by default. The drive was created in the world. They're going to be fruitful. But by a man, he says, since Hashem says, "Vayivarech otam Elokim," Hashem blessed them. That's one. And then Vayomer lahem, and he says to them, "Pru ורבו." It seems like Hashem is like telling them, you have a choice. Now that's up to you. That's up to have children. It's up to you. Pru ורבו. That's up to you. And that's what he's saying. It's beautiful how in the psukim, in the wording, it makes a lot of sense. And he continues. I'm going to go to B now. Arba'a hachalakim shel tafkid adam. Now listen how he breaks the pasuk. Do you remember I told you why the Torah is to tell you pru? 1. ורבו? 2. מילאו את הארץ? 3. What does pru means? Fruitful. ורבו means many. מילאו את הארץ, fill the earth. וכבשוה, and conquer it, or be kovesh, capture it. Says Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, ארבעה חלקים של תפקיד האדם. There are 4 parts to your tafkid. Each and every one of us has a tafkid. We have 4 parts of our tafkid, our mission. What is it? Number 1, pru, fruitful. Number 2, ורבו. Number 3, מילאו את הארץ. Number 4, כבשוה. כוללים את כל התפתחותו המוסרית נעשים בבחירתו החופשית. That means, if you want to develop, moral development comes through your choice. Pru means, so now he breaks it down. Listen to how he breaks it down. You know what pru means? Pru means get married. מתייחס לנישואים, because he's asking a question, why does the Torah have to give you pru, ורבו, דניאל Adam? Look at the Torah. The Torah says, pru, be fruitful. ורבו, be many. Fill the earth. That's the third thing. וכבשוה. It's the same thing. It's all the same thing. Why repeat it? Says Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, says there's four aspects here. Number 1, pru means, he says, get married. מתייחס לנישואים. It's talking about marriage. That means if you want to be fruitful, you can't be fruitful by yourself. I know that people today want to change that, unfortunately. They want to create robots, AI robots, by creating a wife or a woman or some to change the DNA or change the world, what HaKadosh Baruch Hu originally intended for the world to be. There was an intention that the world should have a man and a woman. Why is that? Because you have to be pru. You have to have children. Part of the reason why Hashem created a man and a woman is to have children. So he says pru means מתייחס לנישואין. It has to do with nisuin, marriage. What's revu? Multiply. Daniel Adam, you hear what he's saying here? Why? He's asking, why does the Torah break the pasuk into 4? Obligation to a man. Pru, revu, מילאו את הארץ, וכבשוה. It's the same thing. It's really, if you pay attention, it seems like it's the same thing. Hashem is repeating the same thing. Be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth, and וכבשוה, be kovesh. Same thing, right? He says no. He says pru means, says Rav Shamshon, says marriage. Fruitful. How do you become fruitful? Only through marriage. Revu means many, means mishpacha, family. Build a family. Comes out to be that if a person is married and he doesn't have children, he still didn't build a family, right? So how do we see pru? How does fruitful mean marriage? How does fruitful mean marriage? I'm asking you a question. How does fruitful mean? Why? How does fruitful mean marriage? According to him, fruitful means marriage. Marriage means fruitful. Oh, I think that's what it means. Fruitful means marriage because you're enabling yourself by being married to a woman, you're enabling yourself to have children. That's how you need to be married. So that's what it means pru. Put yourself in the enablement to have children. What about revu? Mishpacha, family. Family. What's milu? What is milu etarz? Fill the earth. What milu means? Chevra. You have to create a chevra. Chevra means there has to be a group, right? So it's not enough family. It's to have a chevra. It's to have a group. Kivshua means rechishat rechush. Kivshua means now you have to go and get property. It's not enough to have a chevra. Now you have to go and conquer. You have to get property. Basically, you have to come out, go, get. Rechishat rechush. And now he explains. Pru mityaches le'etzam hanesuim. Pru means the concept of marriage. Chibur shnei haminim kidei leolid et perot ha'adam. Two people coming together is so that you'll be able to create human beings. Perot ha'adam, fruits of a man. Banim kederech sheba'etz, just like by a tree. כדרך שבעץ, מבחר, כוחותיו, שרפיו, משתחררים בפירותיו, כנפת עצמאי, you don't have to say, כך גם אצל האדם, תכונותיהם האלוקיות והאנושיות, האצילות ביותר של האב והאם חוברות יחדיו להוליד זרע אנושי עצמאי. You need to have a man and a woman who has the godly and human אצילות, strength ביותר של האב והאם, of the father and the mother, חוברות יחדיו, together, they could attach themselves and together, leholid zera enoshi atzmai, to create a responsible seed, human. Now the truth is, if you pay attention, we don't pay attention so much about it, but when a woman is pregnant, stop for a second. Do we realize, those little kids watch those movies, all of a sudden, like you're demonized and you have a monster coming out of your stomach, and all of a sudden you have your stomach rips, and all of a sudden you have a snake or whatever, right? Something coming out. For those that experience such, what's the name, right? So if we don't pay attention, that's exactly what happens to a woman, right? There's another person in a person. That's a phenomenon that we don't even like. For us, it's like, oh, of course. It's a phenomenon. There's a person in a person. But who made that phenomenon? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How? Through marrying a woman. What you're doing is you are able to create that phenomenon. Ravu, so that's Pru. Pru is marriage. According to Rav Shamshon, Pru means marriage. Ravu means mityachetz lemishpacha. Has to do with family. Why? Because he explains. Rabba means lehitrabot, to become a lot. Holadat yiladim en badai leitrabot hamina enoshi. So just having boys or children is not enough to increase the human race. Gam be'arbe minim shel ba'alei chaim. Also, many minim of animals not enough to increase the animal race. Hitrabut hamin tluya betipul bevladot. Ach b'min ha'enoshi. See, he says when you have a species becomes a lot, many species. You need to do betipul havladot. No, tipul havladot means taking care of the babies, right? Ach b'min ha'enoshi tipul zehu echrech muchlat. He says when you have a baby, you must take care of the baby. It becomes a hechrech. Hechrech means it's a must. By default, that's how it is. Velo rak mibchinat hakiyum hagufani, but it's not only because in order for the baby to stay alive, you have to take care of the baby. En kol tikva lekiyuma shel yeled enoshi. Of course, the baby is not going to be able to live if you don't take care of it. Im horav ena metaplim bo mirega vilato. If parents don't take care of the baby, as soon as the baby is born, the baby is going to die. Ve'ena mekadmim lelo heref et shlomo v'itpatchut hagufanit. ואינה מקדמין ללא הרף את שלומו והתפתחות הגופני, נמצא ללא הלידה כשלעצמה, אלא הטיפול. היא הסיבה האמיתית לריבוע המין האנושי. So he says, do you know, he says, in order for you to be able to fulfill the obligation of revu, you need the family. Why? Because when you're taking care of the child, you are actually making sure that obligation is going to happen. Are you with me? I feel like I'm talking. You hear what's happening here? By you having a family, you know what you're actually doing? HaKadosh Baruch Hu told you that there's an obligation to take care of the child. Why? Because by taking care of the child, that's how you're actually making that your obligation, your kiyum, your mekayem, you're fulfilling your obligation. Why? Because if you have a child and you don't take care of that child, the child is going to die. So by you actually taking care of that child is how you're fulfilling the obligation of having children.
Can't have kids that we don't have.
Huh?
You can't have kids. Someone can't have it. Husband and wife can't.
It's an excellent question.
What's the point of taking care of your child? Is it the basic necessities? Is it everything? Is it all the mitzvahs?
Oh, so for now, it seems like the basic necessity that you need to take care of to make sure that he's alive. Achrava kolel yoter mikach. So now he's adding. It's not only basic necessity, it's more than that, he says. Al haorim mutal hachiyuv gam lehitrabot bivnehem. The parents are also obligated to have many of children. Hainu leolid atzmam mechadash derech b'nehem. This is what he's saying. Unbelievable. Look what he says. He says your obligation is in your children is to clone yourself through your children. Says Rav Shamshon Raphael Hirsch, when we says pru urvu, he says it's not stam to make sure children are going to live. That's one way. But there's an obligation to make more of you through your children. How do you do that?
Grandkids?
More than grandkids. It means, that's right. You want them to also be developed in a moral development. It's not only feel like what he asked. What was your question?
It's a great question. Basic necessities.
Is it basic necessities? Is it basic necessities? The answer is first, yes. First in the beginning, the first stage is basic necessities. Which right? But he's adding a little more. Pru, urvu means what? Pru, marriage. Urvu means, he explains, means mishpacha. Urvu means mishpacha. But he says, what does it mean mishpacha? It's not stam mishpacha to make sure I'm going to give basic necessity that a child should live. He's saying Rabba means kolel yoter mikach. He says it includes more than that. It means al haorim mutal hachiyuv gam litrabot b'bnehem, which means your obligation is to have more of sons. Hainu leholid atzmam mechadash derech bnehem. You have to make yourself be born again through your children. Hem tzrichim lavo shuv bidmut bnehem. You have to come back. You have to come back in the demut, in the vision or the. How do you explain demut in English? Demut. Similarities in your children. The children should be like fathers. It's not enough for me to have children and give them food. I have to make sure that he should be like me. Not only in terms of my physical appearance. I have to create children that are emotionally, mentally, spiritually, morally like me. That's the obligation. I have to make sure that I will plant and to raise and to grow in my children different types of kochot that are ruchaniim, spiritual kochot, moral kochot. Klalo shel davar. Says Rav Shamshon, what's the fact of the matter? Chovatam hi litzor ulchanech et benehem. That's where chinuch comes in. You have an obligation to have children and to train your children, to be mechanech your children. Mebchina ruchanit, not only physical, it's also spiritual. Rak be'ofen ze yavo ha'orim b'dmut benehem v'yikamu mitzvot. Only when, listen to what he's saying, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. That means if a father, according to Rav Shamshon Hirsch, he says if a father had a child and he left him in foster care, or he left him, somebody should feed him, but the child was not raised with the same chinuch like you did not fulfill the mitzvah of pru ורבו. It's unbelievable. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And you send your kids to yeshiva. Fulfilling it?
Huh?
Yeah, they were in foster homes. A lot
So that's a good question, right? But again, first of all, let me just explain to you. It has not. Let's take a step back. Before religion comes, like everybody loves to say, Derech Eretz Kadmal Torah, right? Everybody loves that. Before religion, there has to be some ethical behaviors, and those ethical behaviors comes from the father and mother. Those ethical behaviors, before Torah, there has to be ethical behaviors. Cannot kill, can't steal. It's not the right thing to say. It's not the right thing to do. That a child gets from who? From a father, from a mother. That's what he gets. That means my obligation, part of Pru Urvu, he's saying, is not just to have a child or have many children. I have to be able to give my children also chinuch, training, that my child will have moral, spiritual support. Holy person. Now, not necessarily Torah only. Spirituality means a person should want to grow. Growth mindset type of a person. He wants to be a better person. He wants to work on himself. He wants to discipline himself. Right? Only when I do this, I'll be able to fulfill the mitzvah of revu with my family. That means that you're asking a good question. But those people that grew up in the time where Chas v'Shalom, where the Torah was taken away from them, right? So then we say it's already honest. It's honest, Rahmana Pater, honest.
Let's say you raised your kid properly, but he just decided to go off anyway.
No, but you did your thing. You did your best. You did best, no?
First of all, that's an amazing question. Let me first take first question that you said. The first question that you asked was, what about if you grew up in communism, Russia, and whatever? So, number one, simple understanding is, he's saying if it's in your ability to do it, obviously if the ability is taken away from you, you're considered honest, right? You're honest. Ability is taken away from you. So you don't have, we're talking about if it's in your ability. Let's say you have the ability to do it. The question is, what is your obligation? As a father, my obligation is to be able to not only give him physical, bring him into this world physically. As a father, my obligation is to be able to give him spiritual, moral teaching. And if I don't give him that spiritual, moral teaching, I did not fulfill the mitzvah of Pru Urvu. And he said this very interesting. He explained the way he says it is, I have to create more of me through my child. My child is me. And how does my child become me? If he learns from me. What is the right thing to do? What is the wrong thing that I'm not allowed to do? That's unbelievable. That means if I didn't do it. Now, the second question you asked was, what if? What was the second question? He goes off. So, the answer to that is, which could be very scary, what I'm going to say now. And again, I'm not a Navi or whatever. I'm just going to tell you what I think. If a child was raised properly and went off, then maybe you didn't raise him properly. If a father and mother dedicated their life to their child, do whatever, obviously, they're Yotzei Ma'akalat. But I'm saying, you as a father, you as a mother, your obligation is to be able to raise your child the right way in order for you to fulfill your obligation of Pru Urvu. Now, if a child went off, maybe there's something that I, as a parent, did. Again, obviously, you're not a malach. We're not malachim. We should do the best that we can, right? But me, as a father, I'm supposed to do it. I'll give you an example. For myself. I could have a little water. Give you an example. Very good question, by the way. Daniel, thank you for bringing a little life to the. So the beautiful question, and I might say it like this. A lot of us as parents, we go to work. And a lot of us are parents, and we're so busy that we don't really have time to really know exactly what's going on with our kid. We know he goes to school. I know I pay tuition, But the question is, how much time do I actually sit down to do homework with him? Just forget homework. Connect with the kid. This week, Sunday, I decided, I'm not being a good enough parent. I have to be a little more of a better parent, I said. I'm going to go with my boys and play ball, basketball. Boys and girls, little kids. I'm going to take them to the park. I started playing ball with them. it's unbelievable after the game how much connection I got and my children got just from that game. Forget about who won, who lost, whatever. But how much connection I got to my kids when the next day I woke up and I was actually trying to read my thoughts, like a little bit, like understand. I actually was, when you're going to the park in the beginning with your kids and you think like, now I have to play ball with them, right? After the game, even though it's a kiddish game, right? What do you play already with little kids? After the game, the next day, I actually had the opposite. Oh, I can't wait to go again to the park and play with them. That was the feeling. And it's crazy how I said that the day before while going to the park, I said I have to force myself to go to the park and play because I'm thinking I'm not playing with boys my age or whatever, men my age. I'm playing with little kids. What am I going to have? Like babysitting, right? But when I actually played with them, I had such a good time that the next day I was looking forward for this. Not only that, my kids, the next day I came from work, they accepted me completely different. And I'm saying to myself, wow, I'm such a fool. I don't give enough time. It's being recorded, right? I don't give enough time to my kids as a father because imagine I give enough time to my kids and more time. Number one, I'll understand them better. They'll understand me better. Number two, they will learn from me. I'll learn from them. That's how you can. The connection is what happens, and that friction, or I shouldn't say friction. That connection, that bond, is what creates you. Your children want to be like you. Your children, the memory of you says, I want to be like my father. I want to be like my mother. So the answer to your question is, if unfortunately a child went off, obviously again we have to daven. It's probably, perhaps, we didn't do our due diligence. Maybe because sometimes we think, as a matter of fact, your question gave me a better understanding. We think as parents, our obligation is just to have children and go to work. That's it. My wife, take care, babysitter, right? From here we learn, no. You want to fulfill, imagine, according to this of Shamshon Hirsch, if you go to Olam Haba, 120 years, how many kids you had? There's a number of kids. Did the mitzvah. Oh, you had a son, you have a daughter. We all think you have a son. Whoa, you did the mitzvah. According to Rav Shlomo, look at your son. He shows you a picture of your son and your daughter. Where are they? If they're off, Chas v'shalom, Hashem says you didn't have kids. What are you talking about? I didn't have kids. Of course I had kids. This kid. But they say, guess what? According to Rav Shlomo, he says the obligation, the way he explains the Torah, the obligation of having children is not just having children and many children. The obligation of having children is you have to create more of you. Look at you and look at your child. Look at you, look at your child. You didn't create more of you. You have to teach him that he should have the musar, the teaching, the ethics of what a human being is supposed to be. And he doesn't have that. Look at him, look at you. Sometimes you have the stories, I'll be honest. You have Rabbanim, unfortunately, you have Rabbanim who are like, wow, such chashuv Rabbanim, and their children are completely not there. And sometimes these Rabbanim are embarrassed to go to professional help, they're still there, right? Either they didn't parent properly, or unfortunately they were busy. And I'm talking myself, we're busy with the needs of a community that unfortunately we don't give enough time to our own kids.
Isn't every kid unique, and you're supposed to love them and have them being raised with their abilities, not be a copy of you? How would you respond to that?
Excellent question. Every kid has his own abilities, and he's not supposed to be you, right? So there's two aspects. I think what Rav Shamshon Hirsch is saying, he's not saying that you have to create kids copy of you. It means, I think what he's saying is, you have to create kids that, just like you are developed, just like you are, you have your ethics, morals, you have to develop those type of kids. That's what it means. It doesn't mean they have to be like you. It means they have to understand morals and ethics just like you are. Yes, in Achinam, you're right, every kid is different. But I cannot just let my son just have a child and just leave him and let him what's name. I have to teach him ethics. How to teach him ethics? That's already for every child. I have to teach his, bring out the best of every child. And between me and you, let's be honest, every child is actually you. Like when you have children, between me and you, we don't really know all our trigger points of who we really are. You know how we really know who we really are? When we have many children and you see one part of your personality in one child, the other part of your personality in another child, you just say, oh, he's not like me. How do you know he's not like you? Oh, he's just like your mother. He's just like your father, right? We don't realize that our being, we as human beings, we have so many different traits and personalities and different. So our children are developed based on who we really are. Sometimes I have kids, and every child is different. But the truth is, all these children is really me, right? But let's continue. This is a big chidush we're learning here. This is a beautiful chidush. You understand what we're saying? Why we're supposed to dance over here? What he's saying. According to Rav Shamshon for Hirsch, he's saying that pru ורבו, ורבו means not just, and you understand, he's explaining not just like fish. Fish have a natural boom, just become. By being many, that they fulfill their sustenance in this, they fulfill their creation in this world. By human being, he's explaining from the pasuk the fact that Hashem says vayomer Elokim, vayomer otam Elokim, vayomer lahem. It's two separate things. Hashem blessed them, and then He said to them. What does He said to them mean? That means the obligation it's in your hands. It's not a natural thing. All of a sudden, me having children, it's not going to naturally be. I have an obligation. It's not going to happen natural. I have an obligation to be able to bring children to this world, to multiply children, to make them like me. That's my obligation, and that's given into as what? What does He say? Bechira chofshit, freedom of choice. It's freedom of choice. You could do it, you could not do it. Let me continue a little bit more. A, B. Now let me go to C. I really like this. מובן זה של שורש הבא. לאמנו לחנך מופיע מחדש.
Are you supposed to be making the children better than you? Or just like you?
Of course, better than you. The point is, you have to be able to bring out the ethical, the learning, the ruchani in your children. And again, even the child that's better than you, it's not better than you. It's you. It's just you in a better, there's an English word. It's you in a better version. You better version. Your child is you. You can't say my child's not me. It's you. Me in a better version. And he says, חינוך והתנהגות בדרך. Now he's saying, so it comes out to me, מובן זה של שורש רבה. This obligation of the shorosh of Rabba. What's Rabba? Rabba urvu. What does it mean? He's telling you shorosh. What's the root of that Rabba? Le'amen ulchanech. To train. To teach. Mofia mechadash berabba kashat. Vayir rove kashat. What's rove kashat? She taught them. We're talking about the child of Ishmael, right? He was a rove kashat. What does it mean? What's rove kashat? He became a rover. What's same words, same letters. Reish bet hey. Rabba means a lot, but what's Rabba really means? Rove kashat means chokhmat hayiriya. You know what yiriya means? The wisdom of shooting, to be able to know how to. The wisdom of being. Well, who's a shooter over there? Wisdom to be able to focus, to be able to yeah, but it's not only that, not only archery, but also shooting. The skill of what? Precision. To be able to take and to be able to precision. That's rove kashat. To be able to chokhmah of yiriyah, to be able to focus and shoot. He says betarbut, chinuch. What's tarbut? Also rabba. What's chinuch? Chinuch v'itnagut b'derech eretz. I have to teach my children to have derech eretz. ייתכן שגם השמות רב ורבה נגזרים ממובן זה, שכן תפקידי העיקרי של המלמד הוא לפתח את התלמיד בדמותו הרוחנית של המלמד. He says the obligation of a teacher, of a Rabbi, of a father, is to be able to open up, develop in a talmid בדמותו הרוחנית של המלמד. Spiritual, I have to bring out in the child spiritual being of myself. אכן, therefore, בכל מקום שדרים אנשים רבים ביחד, therefore, every place where there are many people living together, על כל יחיד ויחיד להגביל את עצמו. Every person has to put a border. How do you say it? להגביל means to put himself into a boundary. כדי להשאיר מספיק מקום לחיי אחרים. Put boundary so that you have other people to be able to live. Because if you don't put a boundary, you won't let other people. אמנם הקבוצה של האנשים חלשים, but when people are weak, מתחזק היחיד על ידי סיוע הדדי. When I'm weak and he's weak, I become strong through your help. אך כשהרבה אנשים חזקים נמצאים ביחד, but when there are many people that are strong, all of them together, היחיד נחלש על ידי הגבלה עצמית. So when I'm around strong people, what happens? Automatically I become shrunk. I shrink because of you next to me that's also strong. עניין זה שבקבוצה של חלשים מתחזק היחיד על ידי החבר'ה, ובקבוצה של חזקים מדבר הפוך. יחזק שמונה זה okay. That's already what's his name. נמצא, I'm just going to finish this. נמצא שרבו קורא לייצוד הבית והמשפחה. So רבו, what's רבו? פרו ורבו. קורא לייסד הבית והמשפחה. That means the Torah is telling you get married, fulfill the house. לייסד means to establish a home, family, ורק דרכם יצא חינוך אנושי. And only through family you'll be able to develop human race. Impossible to develop human race without family. רק כשניתנה מצוות רבו, when the mitzvah of רבו קיבלה מצוות פרו. When the mitzvah of רבו came, there's mitzvah of פרו. Through the רבו, I have פרו. פרו את חשיבותה המוסרית הגבוהה. קיבלה מצוות פרו את חשיבותה המוסרית הגבוהה. He says, only when I have the mitzvah of רבו, the פרו already becomes on a higher level, moral, ethical level. ואפילו אז, לידה מחוץ לנישואין היא שמה מוות לאנושות. If a person has a child before getting married, that's considered שמה מוות. Human race is considered poison. If I have a woman and I have children without getting married, it's שמה מוות to humanity. אמנם באופן זה הבן נולד להורים, yes, even though a child can be born. אך אינו גדל על ידי אהבת הורים, but it doesn't grow through love of parents. הורים יש לו, אך אין לו בית. He has parents, but he doesn't have בית הורים. He doesn't have a house of הורים. אשר רק בו יכול לצמוח לאדם. You see, you need to get married. You want, that means marriage, that's what he's saying. Marriage is part of fulfillment of the mitzvah of פרו ורבו. Because he says you could have two, you have, which one? You could have a situation where people are going to be married. People are going to have a child, but they don't have a house. They don't have a house. Automatically, a child is not born. Automatically, a child is not born. Child is not born in a home. And since he's not born in a home, he's not able to learn. He's not able to be like you. He's not able to develop in a development of musar, ethics. Maybe that's what you hear in the world. People get married, or people live together, and then eventually they decide to get married. Why are you getting married? Well, you already did everything. Why are you getting married? Because they understand that in order for children to have harmonious upbringing, they need a family. There has to be a house, and that's through marriage. מלא נוגע לחברה. על כל זוג מוטל לחברה לתרום את תרומתו, כדי שהארץ תמלא בבני אדם. רק כשהארץ מלאה בבני אדם, היא משיגה את היחידה בשלמות. הווי אומר, okay? So that's the next thing. I'm going to see if that's already building a home. But I want to see number 4. 13D. מצוות פרו ורבו ניתנה לשתיים מינים כאחד. So that means the mitzvah of pru ורבו was given to two species, two minim, me and my wife, like one. We have the mitzvah. עליהם לפעול במשותף בלב אחד כדי למלא תפקידו של האדם. My wife has to help me and I have to help her to be able to fulfill my tafkid. The tafkid of Adam. My purpose. למרות זאת, however, nevertheless, he says, לפני שמייסד האדם את ביתו, before a person establishes his home, עליו לצבור קניינים גשמיים. He has to make sure that he has money. He has to, right? וחובה זו של כיבוש הארץ לצורך תכלית האדם מוטלת בעיקרה רק על הזכר. And who is the obligation to conquer the earth? Man! It's his obligation. יסוד זה ורמז בכתיבה החסר, וכבשוה, if you look at the word וכבשוה, there's one letter missing over there. Even though we're reading וכבשוה, they shall, but really it's וכבשה, he shall be כובש. מטעם זה רק האיש נצטווה באופן ישיר להינשא ולשאת הבת. That's why it's only a man that direct obligation is on a man to get married and to establish a home. ורק עליו מוטל לחובה זו כחובה ללא תנאי. On a man, there's no condition. It's a chova lelot tnai. You have no condition, unconditional. You have an obligation. Leisha hi nitna kechova al tnai. For a woman, it's only an obligation and a condition. What does that mean? Hi chala alea rak kasher hi mitztarefet lebala. You know when her obligation comes in? Her obligation comes in only when she becomes connected to her husband. She doesn't have a separate obligation to go get married. You know that? Her obligation comes in when she's already married, when she's connected. Now her obligation comes in to start working, help him. But she doesn't have an obligation to get married. ציוויים אלה מטביעים את החותם האלוקי על כל בחינה מחיי המשפחה והחברה. These obligations are מטביעים, are putting a stamp, a godly stamp, על כל בחינה מחיי המשפחה. In all aspects, when it comes to the life of a family, והחברה, and the community, התורה אינה מכירה בחלוקת החיים בין התחום התלוקי או הדתי. The Torah doesn't recognize the separation between the godly or דתי. מצד אחד לבין תחום החולין, שלא נגעו בו דברים אלוקיים, מצד שני, השם תובע את כל החיים לעבודתו ולמילוי ייעוד האדם כאדם, ובראש ובראשונה לחיים משפחתיים ואחרים. מצוות מילוי הארץ, that's the next thing, to fulfill on the earth. But let's recap quickly. This is a beautiful piece over here. Again, from here today we learn. The pasuk tells us, "Vayivarech otam Elokim vayomer lahem Elokim pru ורבו." Hashem obligates a man and a woman to have children, and we said pru ורבו. Pru means fruitful. ורבו means many. Umilu et haaretz, and fill the earth. Vekivshua, and conquer it. It seems like it's redundant. It's the same thing. According to Rav Sham, he says no. He said no. He explains the obligation of pru ורבו. Pru means fruitful, right? And he says it means to get married. Revu means to have a family. And he says through having a family, what does family mean? It means that you have to connect, you have to have children. And through a child, you have to create more of yourself. How? What is the obligation? Is to be able to teach him not just to create a child, but I should be able to develop a child that he should be like me, to become a copy of myself. But he says, why he says this? Because this obligation comes not the same obligation as by fish. By fish it's a natural, by default. Fish have to be, their creation is many right away.
Married.
Right? By a human, huh?
By get married.
No, but it's not. But it's up to him. He could decide not to do it, right? It's not a force. It's not part of the. It's not part of the nature. By fish, it's natural. That's their. Like he says, dachaf. Their worldly creation. There's a push there, right? That should happen. Masha'enken by a man, because it says vayivarech otam Elokim vayomer lahem. It's like two separate things. He blessed them. And then he says to them, that means the saying is like more of an obligation on them, but it's up to them to be able to have pru ורבו. And basically what he's saying over here is, in order for you to fulfill the mitzvah of pru ורבו, it's not enough just to have children. I have to create children and be able to create more of myself by educating the child to have ethics, to have midot, derech eretz. And only if I have a child like myself, that's when I fulfill the mitzvah of pru ורבו. And he says it's not enough just to have a girlfriend and have children, because that's not a house. Only through a house you're able to create a full circle with it, developing a full child, a full complete being. Without that, it's not a house. It's not a being. And if it's not a being, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah of pru ורבו. That's unbelievable. Wow.
Deep.
It is deep, and I appreciate you coming. But from here we see there's a mitzvah getting married. There's a mitzvah to get married. Baruch Adonai Olam, amen, amen.